Hmm. God, it was something else. Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. Let me give some high vibrations out as I start this very morning to the east, to the north, to the west, to the south, up above, below, and the center. Energy of the perfect fifth. And I don't want to take you too high without giving you a grounding energy as well. Well, coming at you, coming at you, coming at you, coming at you. Oh, whoops, didn't mean to do that. Didn't want to completely turn myself off. There we go, that's a little better. See me? And tonight we're drinking a light, kind of light beer, Sam Adams, winter mix. Kind of got a little citrus taste, so drink them if you want them, smoke them if you got them. And who I am, oh my goodness, lotion, damn. I go by the name of Big Pontiac, and I am the holder of the infinite sacred ball game created by the Hero Twins. And I'm also that one and only Galactic Daddy-O, welcoming each and every one of you, whenever you see this, to my galactic patio that goes from Minnesota to the universe. So I come. I come in understanding. What do they say? We come back to reclaim the pyramids. It's kind of how it feels like sometimes. We come back to reclaim what should be ours, what could be ours. And what is, what did you really look at is, what is the heartbeat of America? What is the heartbeat? What is the heartbeat of America? What is the energy you could tap into? I mean, that's when someone asked me, they said, oh, how do how can I tap into the time walking papers? Well, that's what it is there's a heartbeat in this country that everyone, and everyone, you can really tap into this if your intention, I mean, it's been people's bad intention, they still have been able to tap into this. Now, how far they can go with it, we really don't know, but it's there, and it can't be stopped from all of us tapping into it. So I just try to come by and give some answers, some selections to different kind of feelings and emotions that people go through, and how to try to navigate all this. I mean, it's okay to see what's going on in the world, but it's also okay to see what's going on with you. And what can we do to make each and every one of you stronger, the best you? Because it doesn't hurt to have some wise ears around. As Paul said, those that have ears will hear. That is definitely a real thing. So I wanted to put that out there. And so that's the kind of word I try to. Oops, that's the try to word. That's the That's the try to word. That's the kind of word I try to put out there, and the feelings, and the things and the stories I talk about. It's just different experiences. It's not glorifying one thing or the other. Saying this is my experience, and if you can do it, and if what I'm saying is positive, and you can relate to it, and however you get the information might be for you. That's all. And we all interpret the world differently. There ain't one way to interpret the world. There ain't one word. There ain't one word. There ain't one way to point out things of the world. There's several different kind of ways. And so that's that. Now that's the part of being of choice. I think it goes into two things: choice and change. Because when you have a thing that's a change, there's a thing that choice. Because if the enemy is the change, you could also look at the prerequisite of the enemy being the choice. Because we know, social economics causes a lot of the choices. And we have a system, and once a person is beat down, in some instances, they can't come back up. So, hey, what's happening, Lorenzo? Thank you for joining me. And so that's all. That's all people have to point out, is say there's some choices for all these kind of different behaviors. There are real choices, and there are solutions. And there are ears out there that try to get in my case, an elder that tries to give his opinion. And can't anybody on this set say, I've tried to vampire of anybody? My inspiration, now maybe books, I don't always tell you where it comes from, but if I've heard somebody else say something, I'm the first one that says where I heard it from. It's funny, I don't mind saying this. I was once part of knew a deep inventor. And I'm going to tell you, what he invented. And I've said this before, but I don't know if I've told full enough of the story. I'm talking about this earlier, so I'm going to talk about it a little bit now. Guy invented something. Man, I guess I told a little bit of this story, but I'm going to tell the whole story and how it kind of relates. So there was a group of brothers that had a chance to get their PhDs. Now, if what is his name, Thomas Sowell. If Thomas Sowell was at their school, he wouldn't have let them any of them get their PhDs. But at Western Michigan University, in the late 60s, the mid to late 60s, there was a bigger push to have black PhDs. Now, I've talked about many times, you can look up a cat, Dr. Charles Tucker, he was Magic, Mark Aguirre, Greg Kelser, Isaiah Thomas, he was all their first agent. He was one that went through this program. I had another friend, one of my best friends, his dad went through this program. His name was Dr. Wyatt Kirk. And this is how deep Wyatt was. Wyatt got his doctorate. He married a lady. One reason why I kind of went to A&T too is Dr. Kirk went to A&T, and then his son went to A&T. But Dr. Kirk married a department head down there, and they were in the same department. So she became the assistant department head to let her man become the department head. This is a true story. I'm gonna say that again. She gave up her department headship for her husband. You understand? This is a true story. And so several people I knew in my life became PhDs. Now the person I'm about to talk about, he didn't. He was a little too arrogant. He didn't think he needed it. But the guy was brilliant, no doubt. And what the guy invented, he invented this. He had a part of the technology probably in 80. He had the 82. He might have even had this figured out in 81. And I've said before, part of what you see in his work, you still do see. The first part, and I'm not trying to get away, but part of what he invented that lives is, if you remember anything about the 300Cs or the Chargers I imagine even the Challengers, their cold air, there was a cold air inducer you could put on them, or you could order it, but you could also put it on it. This guy invented this thing. And actually, he could give you, I think they gave you, they say if you put this on, it was like, I know when I got my first 300, it was '05. So it gave me 10 more horsepower. So I think it gave me a 310 horsepower altogether. So he invented this. This is one thing that he patented, he invented it. The patent ran out, and you see it all used all over because the patent probably ran out in the early '90s. I'm thinking it's 10 years from when he took the patent out. But the Chrysler products yet definitely used this product. But this is something that he came up with in 1980-81. He invented the bladeless turbine. Now, many of you should understand what a friction car is. Now, you know what a friction car is you back it up, and you let it go, and this thing will shoot across. That's a friction car, okay? This guy had invented a car based on the bladeless turbine, and the bladeless turbine is the bladeless thing that, it's can be any different size, but it's, a bladeless turbine, something that's going to spin. He invented a car, a little toy car that you just blowed in. All you had to do is you blew in the top of it and it would shoot across the room. No backing it up. All you had to do is take the little car, it's the part to blow. You blew in the little car, let it go, it would shoot across the room with this bladeless turbine. Not only did he invent the bladeless turbine, he invented a system called heat recovery. Heat recovery system. So whatever fuel you put in it, the car had a system that would recover the exhaust or heat. And it would use the energy to push the energy back into the turbine. I know some things get exhausted, but this was the idea of it. Any kind of heat that came off of the car was going to take it back. Now, something he also invented and had blueprints of it were, he came up with this around the 80s, is what Tesla used today for the brakes. Each brake has to have an individual motor. He saw this, he knew that this turbine car was going to be faster than anything that was ever built. So he came up, he said, yeah, I'm going to have to put motors on each one of these wheels to stop this thing because it's going to be so fast. Well, to build a car is very ambitious. Costs, even back then, billions of dollars. It takes 5 years to take a car from board to production. Retooling everything. It takes 5 years. So he was ever, I think Brother Bomber called it, we have all this entertainment or industrialization, things that don't work. And this was a lot, and we never could, get the finance from it. But what's funny is, what he did invent is, he invented a generator. Some of them, now I've told this story before, and I was corrected. I know a few of his generators, for some reason, he didn't get the contract, so he had to go get a few of them. I've just been told that there's a few that still perform and produce. And to my general knowledge is that this small generator took the place of a big giant building. And this small generator never broke down. Like the ones he took apart never had to have any maintenance or anything. And the one thing that he invented that also was outstanding is he invented a, I'm about to, I was just talking about it a minute ago. So it's okay. So it's a type of regulator, and that's not the name, but it's a type of regulator. So if you understand, if you have two pipes, and you want something to go through, you want something to stop it from going. So it's an actuator. That's the word I'm looking for. It's an actuator. So he was able to invent an actuator that had multiple sides that could go to multiple pipes, and actually they could time it. And this actuator was so good and so efficient that it really could, you could go to, because most actuators was just one or two pipes. This thing could go to multiple pipes. And it was approved. The factory is about to be built. And all of a sudden, the person who was the point man died. So this died. Now, he also came up with a type of gemancy. Now, I know some people may say it's gematria, and he tried to use the chaos effect to basically win the lottery. And he did gematria, and I think some gemancy as well, and actually had won the lottery. But as I told the story before, the guy was sending money to his son in California. The son wasn't playing the numbers for him. But one time, and his son's stupid too, because his son could have hit and never gave the money back to his dad. Did nothing and did nothing. So, and then finally, if you think that his story is just a regular story and no government intervention, no government ever bothered him. And he came up with a dream book. Came up with a dream book. Now, those of you who look back in my videos, I show a dream book going into what was the show where Lawrence Fishburne was playing Bumpy Johnson, you know, American Gangster, not American Gangster, maybe not even Hoodlums, I forget what it was called, but anyway, remember what I showed her, she had to say her dream was the 442, you know, she threw the 42 in there. And so he ended up putting together a dream book for the lottery, you know. And out of nowhere, we got a cease and desist letter. Like out of nowhere, we got a cease and desist letter. It made no sense. You can still buy this kind of thing. So it just shows you that there was something else out there that was going against this brother. And the brother had faults. You know, the brother had faults. Because when you're a salesman, one thing you do is you love questions. Sometimes that's what hooks people into your ideas, questions. And this guy was like this. And this is his mentality. This guy thought he was so thorough with what he felt you should buy from him that he felt he explained everything. That's his thinking. That, excuse me, when he came to you, he told you so much about his idea that he thought that there was nothing left to question. And that's not how things work. And he would be offended when people had questions. And that's definitely not how business works. Because it wasn't personal, because he would take it personal. They're not asking questions because of personal, they're asking questions, should we invest in this? Right? So, and, you know, the other part is that, you know, the brother didn't take care of his health. That's the other part. I think the brother didn't live to be, I think he outlived me. I think he lived to be 62 or 63 years old. He didn't even live to be old as his mother. She lived into his 80s, her 80s. So I'm not judging him, but sometimes when things are given to you, you take them. I guess is my point. And there was something handed to him on a silver platter, and all he had to do was just follow through, and it really would have benefited him and his family in the long run. You know, I think. So, I mean, it wasn't my path, but it was his path. But I don't know. I was just thinking about him earlier. Oh, the Most High, peace. Thank you. Oh, thank you. This twins hat. You know, I love the Twins too. I'm a Minnesota fan. So and this stuff is cheap up here. So I buy the cheap stuff that I like. If the hat, I don't have to pay $50 for these hats. I try not to. I mean, it hurts. Right now, I'm debating. You know, I pretty much can buy what I want, but like the sweatpants I want is like 125, and they have not went on sale. I have the jacket. It's the polo jacket, and it's the sweats with the white line. But it's like that 125 is just hard to come off when I have so many pair of sweats. But it's like polo. It's like everything else on polo go on sale, and they ain't at the outlet either. I go out to the outlet once a week. They ain't been out there, so it's like there's. But the jacket, I got the jacket for like $40. The jackets is normally like 125. So I'm trying to get the pants for the $40, but it's like there's a pretty firm iron grip on 125 for the polo pants. Hey, CWE, what's happening? Damn, I thought I made you a moderator, CWE. Why isn't that coming through? I thought I made you a moderator. Can't do it on this. You gotta bring the other back up. So I guess the point of that story is, if there's opportunity sometimes, and it's just going to take a little more time, maybe that opportunity is a good opportunity. I guess that's my point. Yeah, Scott Foster refit that game. Chris Paul had lost 18 straight games when he officiates. Scott Foster repped again. Oh, wow. Yeah, he always loses with Scott Foster. Yeah, they lost. I was watching the game. They lost. Came up here after the game. Yeah, it says, yeah, I did. Yesterday I did. I did yesterday. Last time I was in the other site, and I've got to turn it up the other thing. And so I thought I did. So it didn't take. So got to figure out how to get into that other. Well, I can do it. Okay. Well, once I turn on the other thing, the other site, to see how I can bring it in here. So sorry because I can't do it in this one. This one won't let me do it. Yeah, this one won't let me do it. So, but I thought yesterday I did. Well, I'm sorry. Next time I'll try to bring this other board. I'll tinker here. Had to do a lot of tinkering today, but I'm learning. I'm learning. Having fun with this stuff. That's all. But thank you for joining. Yeah, I thought I did yesterday, so thank you for joining. Let's see. I don't know. I don't want this to. No, I'm not going to do that. That's what I did yesterday. It should log me out. Where did I bring that stuff back in? That ain't it. Ew. Drinking this beer, feeling a little heartburn. Some of the Mexican food might have something to do with it too. Man, guys, it's still cold up here. I'll say that. It is still cold up here. What is the temperature right now? We went out earlier. Oh my goodness. It's 27 degrees. It's March 23rd, and it is 27 degrees. The high today is only going to be 38. Oh, and you know what today is? Today is John Wick Day, baby. So I got tickets to go see John Wick tomorrow on the 5th. Maybe on the 4th. The 4th. I think it's pretty sure on the 4th. On the 4th, I have premieres to see that Michael Jordan movie. I got premiere tickets for that one too. So I think it comes out that Thursday. Thing is everywhere that Friday on the 5th, but I think the premiere, because I'm seeing John Wick tomorrow at the premiere, where the movie theater I go to. So I'm gonna be lit up in that joint watching. I'm gonna take a pad and pen to see how many people John Wick killed. I think one movie it was 3 something. Friday they're gonna be 45, so it's slowly but surely, weather is getting better. Scott Foster refs. The Suns in the playoffs. They're not winning. Yeah, they battled for years. They have battled for years. That's a good catch. Because I sure watched both games. Oh, and then my nephew, they lost. So they end up 4th place in the state. Out of the 8 teams, they end up 4th by seeding. So they lost again this morning. I didn't get up and go. I didn't go to bed. I didn't get off of here until yesterday, till late. So, I didn't get up and go this morning. So, uh, so yeah, I wasn't surprised the way either game turned out. Wasn't surprised at all. You know, it's funny. They've been saying how LeBron and Anthony Davis ain't talking, and I don't know if you guys noticed, but they made sure to highlight when he, like it was a timeout or something, and LeBron was giving them advice because remember all the flack Anthony Davis was getting for when LeBron broke the record and Anthony Davis didn't. You know, he just sat there. Yeah, I remember that. He just sat there. And so from him just sitting there, you know, people was thinking that they wasn't getting along, or he was so. It was interesting what they did today by trying to highlight that. So they tried to kind of highlight. So I thought that was interesting that they did that today. Um, yeah, and then you know the playoffs. I think the play-in games are April 11th. So you know, I'm still debating if I want to go to the finals. The finals is Friday or Saturday. I'm not sure. And then the Timberwolves. You saw the Timberwolves. You know, Towns came back. I'm not sure if Edwards played because it was on the NBA Network off and on. They wasn't. It was kind of showing the whole game, but kind of not showing the whole game. So, but Towns won the game with his shot. So you know, and Towns is one that he's a clown. You know, I have no respect for Towns. Towns plays the role very, very, very well. He plays but he plays the clown. He really does. He plays the Metal Arc Lemon for them. I've shown many videos where he fouls on purpose. Now, what's interesting is we don't see Anthony Edwards having to play that fool. Now, we do. What we'll see, though, we don't see Anthony Edwards foul on purpose. What he will do is throw away turnovers on purpose. I have witnessed that. There's sometimes where it's like where he threw the ball makes absolute no sense. Because you know a lot of times he's handling the ball up front, and then to get Conley, I still don't understand wanting Conley instead of D'Angelo Russell. I don't understand that. Conley hurts you on defense. So Jabbar, you know, he's hurt every other day or so. So I don't know. I don't know that I would really have wanted him for a new guy to come in and the new league and the new owners and the old owner to agree on this. I mean, I don't get that. I don't get that. To agree to bring him in, and now you seeing that core that's playing well out in LA. When they did not need another big man. Ralph Sampson and Hakeem Olajuwon did not work. When they played against Larry Bird, it didn't work at all. When it should have, but it didn't work at all, and it's not. It doesn't appear like it's going to work to me. So that's what I think. So that's what I think. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. And then we got college coming back up in our games. Let me see. College games crank up back 20 tomorrow. Yeah, there's games tomorrow night. I'm gonna be seeing watching John Wick. Yeah, there's games tomorrow night. No, games Thursday. It's the 23rd. Is when? Yeah, it's the 24th. Nope, right here. Yeah, the game. Okay, Madison Square Garden. Yeah. So the East Region. 2 games from the East Region. There's going to be 2 games from the West Region. So the East Region is playing tomorrow, and then on Friday the West Region plays. Yeah. So tomorrow, Arkansas, UConn. Shit, Arkansas look damn good. They look damn good. But I think UConn just looks stronger. I'm going with UConn on that game. Zags and UCLA. I like Gonzaga. Then on this side, Florida Atlantic over Tennessee. I think Tennessee should beat them. They definitely should beat them. And then, of course, Kansas State and MSU. You know I got MSU. So I got MSU to go to the Final Four, baby. So that's my picks for tomorrow. And I didn't catch any more today about let me see if I can I wanted to see if you guys been like the price of gas really should be really going down. I haven't seen it going down like it should, but it really should be going down the way it wasn't traded last week. The way everybody gave it away. Okay, thank you for that. What is this? Ooh, what is that? What? Ooh, damn. Honestly, damn. I don't know. I have to think about that. Oh, I'm sorry. I got a little distracted. Okay. Um, nope. Here we go. So here we go. That's okay. Yeah, if y'all been playing, I always talk about the price of gold. And the price of gold is up to 1,989. So, which, let me see if I can get this. Which makes it, right here. Oh, I think it was, um, I didn't have to do all this. Didn't need to do all that. Just give me that. There we go. 1 gram, 1 gram, they're charging around $900. Yeah, 1 gram of gold is around $100. The lowest I see is 96. You can get a gold Suza, I believe is how you say it. So a gram is about $90. I think this really ain't the real price. This is the markup. I think on 1900 the gram is closer to like 75. Close. Of course, this is a markup price. But if you go by the gold price, I think that's a little high. 2 gram gold bars, 2.5 gram gold bars. Oh, a couple $100 you can get 2.5 in this state. Now this is what's messed up about this state. In this state, you can't directly buy gold. Like they could not directly ship me gold. I don't know about that. Where I think it's a sucker move to buy like pay dirt from gold places. I think that's a sucker move. Now I could be wrong. Maybe there might be somebody that had a benefit to me. If I'm gonna send away for gold, you can just send away for gold. If I was allowed to, like if you just get the little pieces of gold, not quite the gold, like a little bigger than the gold dust. You can get that kind of thing. So why would you ever want pay dirt? You ain't guaranteed to get you're not guaranteed to get the amount of gold that you get, that you would get if you just bought a gram. So again, I don't sell gold, but I'm just saying if you follow the price of it, the price of gold is a good time to hold gold. And those of you that have gold, your gold is generated, it's worth more. So that's one thing that's, watch what this stuff does. Watch if you have 401ks, watch what they do. Watch investing. I mean, this is what America is. There's a lot of ways to make money in America. A lot of different things to invest, but it's something that you should have a little bit of literacy in, especially those that you are young and still working. You have to consider some type of savings. And gold has been, a good savings through time. Just to buy gold and hold on to gold, gold is going to keep some type of value. Now, some of this other shit you buy, it ain't going to keep the value like gold is going to keep. Now, in my lifetime, I remember gold being $500 an ounce, $400. And now it's almost $2,000 an ounce, $1,980 some dollars an ounce, almost. Shit, I watched the Rolex. There's 30 some thousand and more now. That shit used to be like 10. All that gold, like a presidential, what is 45 inch presidential, something like that, used to be 10,000. Now that ring is 30 plus. Same amount of gold and everything, but it's, more than just inflation. So these are, some tangible things you can see. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Bitcoin. As you showed that it stands some stability. Ethereum, if you watch that, Ethereum is really a more affordable, for most people, a more affordable choice. It has seemed pretty solid. I mean, but remember, Bitcoin was up to damn near 70, high 60s. And then it dropped to a low of 6,000-7,000. Gold didn't drop. Gold didn't drop under 1,700 the last year. That's the lowest it went. Maybe 1,600. Maybe 16. It's high 1,600s. So it hasn't had that hit that from 60 grand per. And those who didn't ride it out, it went down to 6, 7. Now it's went back up to 20 something, but still, that's 40 some grand some people could have lost. Like those Winkleberg twins, they talk about them twins was the first billionaire. Well, they was probably billion when it was $60. But what did their billions look like when it went down to 7,000? You dig? Nice winter ale on a nice winter night. But I feel positive, and I just wanted to put some positivity out in the world. That's all. There's so many distractions in the world, and it seems like everything that's being put out there is to make you think about other things other than you. And one really has to look out there and say, what does this mean to me? Because some things, is it really worth even knowing about? Is it really worth about caring about? So I look at some things. It's like, what does that mean to me? I don't care about that shit. Why do you care about it? That would make me think. It's like some shit that's put out there. It's like, why do you care about it? Why did it get your attention that you had to, report about it? What was interesting about that shit? Because some of that shit ain't interesting. And it's distracting. Because you need to work on yourself. But everywhere is telling you to think about everything else other than you. And how to make you stronger and mentally stronger, physically stronger, eat better, vibrate higher. Very little that wants to support that kind of thought. Because everybody wants to report on everybody else. Like I saw a picture of the Mingos when they was young. And it was a picture of them all showing money. It's like, why? What's the point of this? What's the point of showing these young dudes with money? I mean, what they show is they show young people wanting to copy each other. It was like what I see now is almost like reminds me of when people started wearing platinum, not understanding at the time platinum wasn't even worth as much as gold. You had all the rappers showing wearing platinum, And the people that could wear silver was wearing silver like a motherfucker. It was kind of funny. The silver places blew up because it takes a certain eye to know the difference. But it just shows they was pushing platinum and saying everybody should wear platinum instead of gold. But at the time when they was pushing the shit wasn't worth more than gold. And it's like everybody want to look alike. Everybody want to buy the same type of stuff, same type of jewelry, same watches. Everybody wants to look alike. It's like nobody wants to be different. They show all these people and they show what success is supposed to look like, and it's supposed to look like the same thing. It's supposed to look like the same thing. That's what gets me. Why is success supposed to look like the same thing? To me, the more I have, the more I want to look different. I ain't never been one to just jump on some shit. Like all these goofies is buying these goofy ass red boots, the Asteroid Boy boots. I'll say they look like they would be good in snow. I'll say that. Snow and rain, they probably pretty good. I don't know how warm they would be. It doesn't seem like there's any fur in there, so I doubt they'd be very warm. Hard to say, but it's like, again, it's like Paddington Bear and shit. The little boots is also like Paddington Bear. Remember Paddington Bear had the little fucking round little boots and shit? So it's like monkey see, monkey do. They think that they put so much out there in front of you that you can't help it, and you just can't help it. You have to keep reaching for that stick, reaching for it. That's why they don't want any entertainers out there to be authentic and be different. They want them all to be the same. Remember EB40? Like, do you talk shit about women? Do you put guns in the video? Do you grab your dick? They want everybody to be the same. And he's even went into these athletes. No one really looks different. It's like there's only a certain type of jewelry, and everybody got to have that same type of jewelry. I mean, where does that make sense? That everybody, ain't nobody, when people that have the most money to buy any kind of thing they want to buy, the thing they want to buy look like everybody else's stuff. How does that make sense? How does that make sense of entertainers? How does that make sense? That all the jewelry look the same. And then we got people to say, yeah, the shit we was getting, it ain't real shit. It ain't real. And some of that shit, the masconite, it's not that cheap, Artificial diamonds. Artificial diamonds have changed the whole game. Because instead of spending, 6,000-7,000 on a diamond, you can spend half of that and get the same VS1, same DD, FD, FD, get a DH, VS color, artificial diamond. So these things are available. And that just makes you wonder, how real is this entertainment business? When the only thing that when you make it, you all got to look the same. There's no other type of jewelry. All the jewelry is just one type of jewelry. So that makes you see it's artificial. Because unless people that aren't told what to wear, especially creative people, they wear different shit. I didn't want to wear Jordans because I wanted to wear other shit. I didn't want to be like everybody else. And Jordans wasn't the only good shoes to wear. There was other shoes. I don't think they were the best shoes until the 12s. Because them first, the second and third Iversons was just as good, if not better. Matter of fact, Shaq's first or second pair with that hexalite in it was the gray shoe too. For dudes that hooped, not just walk around in shoes. So that just makes you have to question these young people. And are they told what to wear? Because that's what it appears like. It appears like they're told to wear these things. Because it wouldn't be so uniform if they weren't. It's like I was talking about, cocaine at one time showed that people was rich and had money and made it. And now they trying to show you that only certain type of jewelry can show that you made it. That you got to have this certain type of jewelry to show that you made it. So this should make you question reality, because it doesn't work like that. My light went off. It doesn't really work like that. Reality would show more individualism. I think, at least the way I am. I don't want to look like everybody else. I don't want to wear what everybody else is wearing. There's enough unique things out there where each and every one of us can wear unique things, where we ain't got to look like anybody else. Our jewelry don't got to look like anybody else. Everything about us is unique. There's enough out there where everything we wear can be unique to us. Everything. And so we are what we are, one of a kind. Not a copycat. One of a kind. So when you go out the house, ain't nobody gonna look like you. Ain't nobody putting it together the way you putting it together. Because ain't nobody telling you how to dress. Makes you see that these people that claim to have all this success and all this money have to dress how they told to dress. They're told to dress a certain way. They're told to rent certain cars. Shit, this is how fake Hollywood made a thing about cribs, and most of the people was just renting the places, Airbnbs. That's why Redman, he was real. He said, I live in this townhouse. Well, damn. Where did all these come from? Sorry, guys, I have not been getting this chat. Thoughts on Willis Reed? I talked about that yesterday. Yeah, I talked about Willis Reed yesterday. But I'll damn, where's it at? Oh, here we go. Oops. Okay. There we go. All right. I talked about Willis Reed yesterday. I'm sorry, I'm a little behind in the chat. I talked about Willis Reed yesterday. Willis Reed, I've said this, and this is to make people understand. He was left-handed, and I didn't mention that. But his game was a lot like Barkley. I mean, he really had he had a nice touch, though. He had probably, the mid-range games were probably the same. I would say stronger. Stronger, just as athletic as Barkley, bigger too. 6'9", 6'10", somewhere-ish size. Now, if you're saying, him far as Willis Reed, far as sacrifice for the Knicks, I think we're going to have to keep our eyes on the Knicks. So I think that's part of it. But as a player, that's the kind of player he was. He was that kind of player. So found out LeBron tried to get him traded. Okay. AD gone this summer. I wouldn't mind. Yeah, Towns is a complete sellout. But yeah, that's what I thought on Willis Reed. I think it's a big yes for ritual for as we were talking about last night. I can really see that we're going to have might be Eastern Conference final, depending on the seeding, might end up being the Knicks and the Celtics over the Knicks and the 76ers. Tennessee has the best defense. Yeah, Tennessee's always, but even going back to when Williams was there, they've always played solid defense. Tennessee plays defense like the 90s. You think gas prices is high out here? You should see out here. Okay, I can imagine. OTF, I can imagine, because we're paying for regular gas. It's in the Taurus we put in it's I think $3.19. I think with the discount I get. Like if we go to Costco, it's always cheaper, but we have to put premium in the BMW, and the BMW is $4 something though. it's still pretty decent. I mean, premium. We put premium in the BMW, and it's for something, so it's not bad. Willis Reed sacrificed. Yes, yeah. Seeing, I really think he was sacrificed. I think the same thing about Bill Russell. That's why you have to look at we really have to look at Boston being in play because of Bill Russell. Because Bill Russell is one of the biggest sacrifices out there. I mean, to live the sacrifice and mark everybody with the sacrifice, that number 6 is on everybody during the whole season. So, uh, and that's where it jumbles up. It's like, okay, you've been highlighting the Knicks. The Knicks have this win streak, but still, you have to look in the back of everybody's mind is that Bill Russell thing. So that's a hard one to call. Yeah, I worry about myself. There you go. There we go. The red boots. Yeah, the red boots. Hey, Damon. Thank you for joining. You see the World's Baseball Classic. They scripted just like the regular season. Now I ain't watching none of that shit. I know Lorenzo had said he watched some, but I didn't watch none of it. I'd be watching hooping too much to watch that shit. What's Jack say? What's happening, Jack? Thank you. World Baseball Classic was so scripted to push the Ashanti and global narrative ID. The NIB got to have Japan win when it pushed their brand globally. And remember, Japan was always whooping ass in the American World Series. They was whooping ass in the American World Series. They broke it up because used to be American, and everybody play everybody. Shit, they had the internationals, so they would let the American team be the American champion, and then they would play the international team and usually lose. Remember them brothers, wherever they came from, Chicago or somewhere? Yeah, they won the American championship, but when they played the Asian teams, the American boys would lose. Yeah, they had Oshanti versus Trout in the final out. Oh, teammates had teammates in the final out. Yeah, I'm not surprised they won. I think I saw maybe scroll by somebody and it seemed like the Japanese player was celebrating, but yeah, I didn't watch any of that. I'm waiting for the Twins to open up, baby. Get the snow out of here, and I'm definitely gonna go live when the Twins open up. But somebody said something about John Wick, and I didn't catch it. And I don't see how to move chat. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I do. Okay. There we go. What'd you say? You never made me a mod. Okay, that was a while ago. Okay, they definitely won't win it if the officials. Yep. Okay, I got that. None of those female refs are brave enough to make bad calls. They're gonna add them in the mix eventually, where they're making bad calls. Last year's first round of the playoffs, Scott Foster was officiating Suns versus Pels. I had Suns first half spread and lost the spread 5-1. Wonder if won 2K. Damn. I'm gonna tell you my best story. I think it was the horse was called Big Brown, and Big Brown had won the first 2 legs, and the final race, the one in Baltimore, the Peplico, what is it called? The one in Baltimore. But the final race, this motherfucking horse lost by a nose. And it was like and I had a bunch of people bet with me, and because I had bet early, and it was like I was gonna clear something like 30 grand, just clear 30 grand easy. And I had other people betting after everybody got paid off for betting with me because I bet early, 30 grand easy. And a nose, I lost 30 grand on a nose. So that's how bogus they can do this. That's how bogus they can do it. That's the most I ever had the potential of losing. Even raining every day. 80 gone, yeah. Okay, I think I'm to the end. The ref bots. Okay, I think you see the nope. Didn't see none of that. They laid out of how is the Luca? Yeah, and they don't like Luca. Luca doesn't have any national commercials. Neither does the Joker. The Joker doesn't have any national commercials. They don't really like these people. Why they're giving them the MVPs? But when they really like them, they really put them out there. It's like that boxer, but he can't speak English. They tried to give him a few commercials, but he's like Trinidad. It hurt him, it hurts that boxer that he won't speak English, and he's what they trying to invent, something that don't exist. The white Latino. I mean, that is oxymoron. There's no such thing as a white Latino. There's no such thing. They melanated. All the people are melanated. So, but it's that's what they were looking for. But he never spoke English, and I know that hurt Felix Trinidad. So, Dr. Sinister, what happened? Trot was trash. It's like Krishinga's the unicorn. Kind of, yeah. I lost 2K by a point as well before. Yeah, that's a heartbreaker. I mean, Big Brown lost. Like the way he raced him, you could see it was something up. It's like every other time he let that horse go, they hit that back stress. He held that horse back. And I was like, damn. And then he tried to, they tried to make it look good. He lost by a nose. But it was like that. That was some messed up stuff. That was some messed up stuff. They like Giannis much more. Yeah, they like Giannis. They slowly giving him the commercials, you see. But they don't like the other cats. And, I'm just as disappointed in the African cats as I am in the European, because it's the same kind of thing. And no dish to them. But, like, it's always been African leagues. The African leagues used to be the lowest leagues. Like I told you before, I had a friend that he had got out of college. He started hanging with us. And I used to just eat him up. And I'm like 35, and this cat's like 24, 25. And he's taller than me. Bobby was probably 6'3". So Bobby puts his video together, and like he shows it to us all hyped. He showed like 2 moves. He did a video of 15 minutes with 2 moves. But anyway, I tell that story because we ended up getting Bobby in the African League. We found out somebody, a recruiter, and I don't know. I met somebody and was like, Bobby would be perfect for you. And so Bobby went and played, but that was like the low European league was the leagues in Sweden. Sweden was some of the lowest European leagues, was in Sweden. Israel, Greece, London sometimes, the top leagues over there. But these Africans cats. So now, I bring that up is, now they're trying to make, the NBA is back for the last 3 or 4 years. The NBA are backing the leagues. It's an NBA Africa now. Just like it's been an NBA Europe. They don't want to call it that, but it's been an NBA Europe. But now it's the NBA Africa. And it's to replace Brothers in America. I mean, you can't look at it any other way. As I said, you want to say that the Mayan had something to do with the Africans. Well, yeah, they gave them the pyramids, but they sure didn't give them the ball game. This is something they learned from the Europeans. This wasn't something that we're born with. See, people in America, sports is it's born. It's in your DNA. Because the rubber and the game, this has been sacred on American land, and so we tap into that. Time and time again, young and old. We tap into that. And so it's more than the game for us. It's a spiritual thing. And don't tell me it's not spiritual. You see all those people lined up to watch Dr. J hoop in the Rutgers. You think that's the only place people lined up to hoop, to watch good ball? I watch that kind of thing around the country. Watching people do their thing. Like when you watch What White Man Can't Jump, you see them just all playing the 3-on-3. How beautiful that is. Because it's in us. Yeah, nobody want to play ball in no damn Africa. Yeah, they got tons of African plants. It's ridiculous. King. Yeah. Oh, and look at the college ranks. Look at the college ranks. The big boy from Arizona. What Kansas State, I think, got a big boy from Africa. I mean, it's not necessary because it takes away from brothers here. And I'm not trying to sound racist. I know a lot of people say the workers coming from, South America, from Mexico is the same thing, but we are born into this, and not really. It's not forced upon them, but it's definitely something that's not natural for them. For us, it's around the corner. It's a hoop around the corner. The whole time you've been going to school, you grow up, there's hoops everywhere. It's football, it's fields, it's baseball fields. All this is for us. Now, I have no problem with the South American players because this was invented down there. So I have no problem with them playing that down there. They should be able to come to America. These are Americans. So I don't mention Tim Duncan because he comes from the islands. This is all America. When you start talking about Africa and Europe, these are invaders still. It should not take the place of young men that have spent their life and their sweat. It's cheaper to develop him in America than develop somebody over there. And the only thing you can say is they melanated and they got the tallness. And I told stories before. They were so desperate to find tall Europeans that they would follow Europeans home, then try to start putting their children in these programs. That's always been under the NBA. Luka has been under the NBA his whole career because they looked at his parents and they knew how he's going to develop. It's not a mistake that he started playing pro ball at 13. They was pushing him. The NBA been behind these people. These people ain't, you know, the NBA has marked these people. And Rick Rubio is still in the league. Dude, he wasn't even playing in Spain. Look at his Olympic record. Look at that Olympics the year he got drafted. What is it, 8, 9, somewhere in there? He didn't play in the Olympics. He didn't play on the national team. Yet they was pushing him and made him a #1 draft pick, and he's still in the league. And you tell me if sports was real, a player like Rick Rubio in his 10th year would still be in the league. And Shotty Vaughn is playing out somewhere else. He was put out the league at 21, 22. #1 pick also. And you tell me how he not in the league, but Ricky Rubio get to stay in the league. And he's been hurt the last 3 or 4 years. When was Ricky Rubio ever a great player? He always been trash. And they got the nerve to still let him play in Cleveland. Again, taking away his job away. So it's not hate speech, it's reality. That this person was given this. He was given this. Not to say he ain't practiced, but I saw him play here and he was trash when he played here. He's been trash his whole career. There was nothing about Ricky Rubio that he was a #1 pick. And that's why the thing with Ben Simmons, as much as it's a shaming, it shows you he could never shoot, and that's why he went to LSU. That's why they hit him at LSU, because they didn't want him in big-time games showing he couldn't shoot, because they was always seeing that. But just like my problem with Zion in high school, all you saw him was doing was dunking. That's it. And then I started asking questions, where are these pictures of his footwork, his overall game? And then he's at Duke shooting set shots with no lift, no elevation. Remember at Duke, he was shooting set shots? Because his whole life, because he's bigger than everybody, they didn't develop that jump shot. People let him down. They didn't make him, or maybe he was too lazy too. Now his body, you know, because of poor management of his body's not made to play the way he wants to play. So a lot of people failed him. A lot of people failed him too. Bruh, those Africans, they slow the game down. Those Africans don't play ball till they're like in the middle school and be skinny, and some make the NBA look like, I mean, even Hakeem didn't really start playing until he was older. They brought him over here because he was tall. So, you know, this is a project. And, you know, I'm going to change a little bit. Embiid and Giannis, Rubio somehow ended up in a contender in the Cavs, exactly. But I'm going to tell you how ugly don't trump nothing, you know, and how you really don't have to have money all the time. You just got to have game and be about something. And this is a true story. And so I've told many times how, you know, I had good friends all over here. And, you know, we knew dudes on the Timberwolves. This was back when J.R. Ryder was playing. Garnett might have been in his first year. I don't quite remember. But, like, I didn't ever have to pay for games when all my friends was around. And so this instance, we actually went to, if anybody's been to the Timberwolves and know where 7th Avenue is, that's 7th Avenue, you know, 1st Avenue. It's on 1st Avenue and 7th. If you know where that is, you know, the Prince's made Purple Rain at 1st Avenue or 7th. I think it's 1st Avenue they call it. So that's where Purple Rain is. Well, it used to be across from next to the Target Center was Prince had a club called the Slam. It's called the Grand Slam. So we would go to the game. So we go in the game. We go to the side door that's like not far from where the players drive into. and we meet one of the ushers in there, and he just like start handing back. It was like 7, 8. We went 7, 8 deep, and I think like the last person, um, it was like he handed out the tickets, and then it was like one more person. He's like, oh, and then he felt in his other pocket. He gave the other person tickets, so we get in the game free. And I mean, we sitting down on the lower level, like in the corners, behind the basket, like in the corners. So we didn't pay for none of that. You know, we had to go to the game. So after the game, everybody go to the slam. Now they playing Denver with Mutombo, Billy Williams, that Denver team. And I have to dare say, Ben Outlaw's a close second, but Mutombo's probably the most unattractive man I ever saw in my life. He's probably the ugliest nigga I ever saw. I mean, let me say this: he was so ugly. Now this man wasn't rich. This man was a millionaire at the time. Ain't no tricks, you know. Ain't no hoes talking to him. Ain't nobody talking to this dude. He in the bar by himself. I remember I watched Billy Williams. He must have felt sorry for him. He went up to it, but this man's by himself. Ain't even the prostitutes ain't even walking up to this big ugly dude. Now we go on the slam. We get in the slam free because Tyrone is a globetrotter. Globetrotters have passes, and everybody with the globetrotter pass get in free with the globetrotter. We go upstairs. We get a table. We got a table. We got girls. Our table is packed. Now, Tyrone had played with the Globetrotters, but none of us, you know, we just regular people. Here's a pro player downstairs by himself because he's too ugly and ain't really got any game. And me and my friends are just normal people. And we got women sitting with us. The table is crowded. People's around the table. So you don't have to have money to have fun and get women. It's all about rap. And yeah, you look too. But it's about game and who you are. But that was an ugly man. And that proved that money sometimes, I mean, I imagine somebody at the end of the night said, well, you know, nobody else paid me, so, okay, Mutombo, you give me a couple grand and I'll put a bag over your head and take it. In some instances, they don't. Some instances, they don't. I've met some cool African people, though. I ain't going to say that all of them are cool. I've met some cool African people. But like I said last night, what was interesting is they was really trying to fight up in the Target Center. I mean, really, it was just like the African children against other African children. It was quite interesting to watch because they're all the same family up here. All the Somalians are technically the same family. And here they are beefing up here because they don't live around each other. It was like, again, you know, it was almost like the young people used to see that the only way they could get attention was getting in a fight in the clubs on the weekends. Y'all remember those kind of people? You know, the only way people would notice them is by getting in a fight. And some women like that. Some women like that their man fighting in the club every weekend. That turns some women on. They start talking to dudes because of that. Most normal people don't like that kind of thing. And it's easy to see that it's the same dude every weekend. That's the only way he can get attention is he got to fight. And normal people look at that as, you know, we don't want to fuck with him. Yeah, some instances they don't. You know, I've dated some African girls. It was good girls, you know, good women, you know, nice women. All of them mostly Christian, nothing you can do about that. But, you know, they can be Christian all they want. I was able to being my woman at the time. That was cool too, you know. You know, it's funny being up in church and shit, you know. Will you go to church with me? Not this time. Remember one woman I used to go to, she used to get so disappointed I wouldn't go to church with her. But it was like I'd end up like during the week I would agree, and then, you know, the jobs would come on the weekend. So, you know, I was repping on the weekend. So it's like a chance to rep and make $600-700 for, you know, a few hours worth of work, or go to church with you and give up some money. You know, it was hard for her to get, she would get mad every weekend. She's like, I knew you'd take another job. Like, well, I'm trying to, you know, support my children. I'm a single father, so I do have to support children. It was hard for her to understand that. She wanted me to church, go down with me. Wasn't happening, honey. Wasn't happening. Mm. You know, yeah, oh yeah, I know. Yeah, you know, I will support a woman. I will, and if that's their thing, okay, I'll be there. If that's their thing, it's not, you know, it's well, I guess what I was gonna say is it's just funny is you know the spells that come with that kind of thing. But that's for the certain minds. That's for certain minds. You know, I guess that's for certain minds. So that ain't for my mind. I've been able to, you know, okay, yeah, I've been able to, you know, counter that. And it's funny when they bury people, they really want to put, when they bury people, they really want to put locks on you, and they're spelling you. If you listen to any kind of Western burial, they are putting locks on you. They try to put that they try to put that eight sided what is it triangles around you. That eight-sided casket. You know they got eight sides. You know these are all locks. These are all locks to try to keep you in spiritually. That's why the way the ritual is. And you know, embalming people go back to the Civil War. They wasn't embalming people before then. You ain't got to be embalmed. Not really. Now it's probably they force people to be embalmed, but not really. People used to die at home. Family take care of them. There's some people that got family plots. Michigan, we have a family plot where let me see, my my fourth great grandma is born there too, and her son, and her grandson, which is my great grandfather. So all of them is born, you know, buried together. My great grandfather that was in the Civil War, his mother's buried there. That's his mother. His mother was born, had to be born around 1820s, I'm guessing, if not a little bit before. No, she's probably born around 1800. She died probably 1810, I'm thinking. I have to look. I've got the information here in the room. So yeah, you know, the world is a hard thing to really like to really. It's like this kind of thing is a thing that it seems like it's more personal TV, where a person can really look at information they really want to bring in. Because I know some people look at it as you got to bring everything in, and that's hard to try to bring everything in. It's like even though I can look at most people and read their life, like I can really feel their life. I can really see. Uh, and it's funny. I had my family laughing because I watched this old lady get the mail, and then she was walking back, and I was like, yeah, she the secretary and stuff. And that was all I wanted to read was just that little bit. But I was just looking at her body language and stuff. But it's like, and people that can do that, it's a problem too because you don't want to read everybody's life. You have to be able to turn it on and turn it off. Now, luckily, I didn't have that ability as a child. I later developed it because that's been a hard thing for a child to see everybody's life, you know. And I met some fucked up people. I never had fucked up things happen to me, but it's some fucked up people out there. And so I'm glad that I didn't, you know, but it's the thing you have to turn off and on. And so, and for the people that are empathic, you know, there's a lot of people empathic. And then you listen to all the world and all these issues in the world. And what does it mean to you? I mean, that's what it comes down to. What does it mean to you? You listen to all this shit. Okay, you know about something else. I think I know so much the nostalgia that I couldn't do anything with that is ridiculous. I have somewhat of a photographic memory, somewhat. For my age, I can remember a lot. I can remember my earliest memory, I was probably less than a year. I can remember being one, I can remember being two. Most ages I can remember. Can't say all the birthdays, but I can remember almost being every age, every grade. I tell people stories they done forgot, but I still can remember the details of the stories. So maybe I'll be more like my grandmother, Because my grandmother was in her 80s still, very much. Wasn't until she got into her mid 90s or early 90s that she started failing. So maybe in my 80s I'll be the same way. Can still tell these stories because that's something they want to attack. Is take away your stories, take away your memories. Yeah, even as a child, you were much more advanced than most adults. You can see through them. Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. That's why it's easier to teach a child certain things, especially certain high concepts. It's teaching them as a child. A lot of times is that's the way they can understand concepts. It's like as a little boy, I couldn't put the motors together, but I could put the bodies together as a little boy, 4 or 5 years old, of a model car. I couldn't put the motors together. I'd get some help with the motor, but putting the rest of the car together, I could just look at the pictures. I didn't have to know how to read. I could look at the car and look at the pictures. And I could literally glue the whole car together at 5 years old. I couldn't build the motor, but I could put the car together, the wheels, the chassis, the exhaust, I could in the seats. I could put all that together at 5 years old when I couldn't even read. My stepfather and I put a B-52 plane together. But we put the whole plane together because I like models at that age. They was buying me that shit, and I couldn't put the engines together because the little parts I couldn't do. But the body, I could put the whole rest of the car together. Models you could roll. Models were some of the earliest cars you could roll, before Matchboxes came in. And Hot Wheels and Johnny Lightning didn't come in until 69, 70. It was Matchboxes until then, or if you had model cars. Because model cars had wheels that could roll. So you could play with model cars. Now, I wasn't into painting and all that shit. Wasn't into that shit, but just shows you, yeah. And that's why they want to teach young people, Young people can be multi-language, have multiple languages at very young. That's why Spanish immersion schools here, they, that's all they speak when they go to school. My daughter did that for 2 years, 3 years actually. Kindergarten, first grade, and second. Or did she switch after first grade? No, I think she went to second. And as you know, you have to have, to graduate and go to college, you have to have a foreign language. It looks like I'm going to school at the U in the spring. I've got to take, I think it's some kind of African-American class I got to take for a foreign language, I think, because I've never, in college, I never took a foreign language since junior high. Wasn't one of my prerequisites when I went to A&T. So, it's funny they gave him that commercial, and then the other player talked about, how he might stay for 4 years. I thought that was kind of interesting to show one dude that played for 1 year compared to another guy. I mean, he went through the big trade, but one thing that we'll see is they're going to highlight players. So one thing the league has always done, and especially these small market, is they give big college players these small markets. And even though he played the 1 year, he still had a big college name. And so when he got traded there, that was after Durant, Westbrook. So they wanted, they always highlight, these small market towns. And so he just luckily is the one they're highlighting down there because they want the season ticket holders to say, hey, we got at least one good all-star. That's why I didn't think he should not have made the all-star team over Edwards when he did, because Edwards hadn't missed a game, and that guy had missed 20 games, I think, by the all-star game, if not more. Edwards had not missed one game, and yet they tried to hold him. They tried to hold him out again. And the only reason he did get in the all-star game because someone else was hurt. And it's like what they did with Paul, the short Paul, Chris Paul. Chris Paul had a broken thumb, basically, and they let him play one play in the all-star game, just like Giannis played in one play. But Chris Paul had a broken thumb. Instead of letting the young person, his ego, he had to play. Because he knows that being an all-star ain't all pro. That's the real thing, is all pro. Yes, all-star is a popularity contest. But the real is all pro. Did you make one of the teams the all pro? That's why they try to prop up the all-star game in the NFL. It ain't all pro. It's a lesser honor. It's a lesser honor. But they try to say, he played in the Pro Bowl. That's the NFL thing. That's why they want to keep it too. because it keeps these small market teams saying, well, we got Pro Bowl so and so. So it's just it's politics. There's a way to try to package something different than what it is. Like they're giving you something else when they're really not. They're really not giving you something else. They're acting like they are, but they're really not. They're giving you, they're giving you the same thing packaged all over and over again. So, and that's part of the distractions. The news. All this is just part of distractions to take away from what you're doing, to make you think like you're not enough. That's what it all is, to make you think that you're not enough, that you need more than what you have. That your children, that you guys aren't satisfied, that your job ain't enough, your education ain't enough, everything ain't enough. And that's the fight, that's the fight. Instead of everybody beating his own drum. What does my man say? Do your thing while I do my thing. Not worried about everybody else's thing. Because that's what it was. They want you to worry about everybody else's thing. And the world stories are interesting. The world stories are interesting. What does it say? What does the song say? 8 million stories. It's 8 million stories every minute you get on this internet. There's 8 million stories. What you say? I don't remember much. I am way younger than you. Maybe I smoke too much. What do you think of? Okay, you think of Shy. He looks like the next big game. Next big thing. He might be. It ain't gonna be down there though. But again, they might give him the treatment that they gave Durant. Because remember, Durant and Westbrook made it. Was Harden on that team that made the finals? I think even Harden was still on that team that made the finals. That LeBron, he knew LeBron was going to win that. There's no way that Miami was going to lose to them. So they might. It's hard to. They want to. They like the small markets. They like the small markets because it expands their brands. But it's funny, the NFL wants a team over in Europe. They want a permanent team over in Europe. But you talking about people don't want to play in Africa? People really don't want to go. Football players don't want to go live in England. The travel would be brutal. The travel would be brutal. Having to live 9 weeks over there, and then 9 weeks in America, constantly traveling, not near your home. Some games where teams are so close, they just fly out the day of. They're so close to the team, They could just stay at home and fly out, a couple hours for the game. But to have to live in another country, and where would your family live while you're gone? So it'd be a nightmare. It's going to be a nightmare. But they want it. The NFL wants it. Because actually, the German team made money. And the English team made money. Yeah, Harden was on the team. I thought he was. Yeah, I thought Harden was on the team too. And that's the only finals Harden played in, was that one. He didn't get near after that. He didn't get near after that, but he did, yeah. So I think that's his that is what his role is going to be. It's going to be the same kind of role that Westbrook had, and that Kevin Durant had. I think they're giving him that, and put a few defensive players around him to make him. And that's the see. This is where the NBA really has shot themselves in the foot. They should have been did this play in with everybody. I mean, I wonder what they're scared of. Why they don't just say you only got 32 teams. Let's play a winner take all. Why don't they do that in the NBA? Because you know what their argument is? Well, the regular season doesn't matter if you let everybody in the playoffs. It would be funner to see all 32 teams go at it. Why shouldn't any team make the playoffs? You only got 32, 33, 34. What is it? Why should any team? be out of it. They shouldn't. If I had that product, that's what I would do. Everybody would be in it every year. The seedings go the same way. The seedings go with your record. But everybody play everybody. As I said before, Indiana basketball used to have one champion from the time it probably started in the early 1900s till I think the 90s. Every school in Indiana played for one basketball championship. And Scott Skiles, they should make a movie about the way he shot Indiana down. You think Hoosiers was a good movie? The way Scott Skiles shot down them brothers from South Bend, Gary, Indiana. Scott Skiles was amazing in high school. And he still, I think, has the most. I think he had 31 assists in one game when he played in Orlando. And he coached for a number of years. Good guy. Party. That was the party guy in Michigan State. Oh, my goodness. That was one party young man in Michigan State. He was a cool guy, though. He was a cool guy. But, yeah. So, the NBA can do the same thing. And it would be a lot more exciting than what they're doing now with the play-in. You make all 32 teams. You make them early games, them low seeds, make them play one and done, no series. And that way you get rid of series, you know. Instead of playing the best now, you just play one game. Just all 32 teams play one game, win and move on. No series, just win and move on until we got a winner. That would be a lot more exciting. March Madness has proven that. Because March Madness is way more exciting than the NBA. You don't hear on anybody having March Madness parties, Final Four parties. You don't hear anybody having NBA final parties. And everybody has parties on March Madness Saturday, the Final Four. Everybody parties Saturday and everybody parties Monday. NBA has nothing to match that. Nobody parties to see NBA Finals. Nobody says, I'll call my best friend and be like, hey, Tony, yeah, I'm going to come over to watch the NBA Finals with you. You excited? What kind of food you want me to bring? Nobody does that. Nobody does that. They have the one championship that no one really celebrates. Not really. Not like the Super Bowl. Not like the World Series. They're all bigger than the NBA Finals. Even the hockey finals. The NBA Finals, only hardcore fans really like it. You hear about that, you hear about that fool that quit the NBA because he said it was too hard on his mental health. Wow. Well, you don't know how he was pushed as a child. And all the daddies out there that want to relive. They want to relive their glory years through their children. A lot of them out there like that. A lot of them out there like that, y'all. So, you never know what point a person is going to break. And then, when he went to college, what kinds of guy was he? Was he a soft-spoken guy and had an abusive college coach and abusive college teammates? And so you can see how a young man would go to the NBA damaged. You can see that. Because there's a lot of pressure. And there's a lot of hands-outs. I mean, I mentioned Shawty Vaughn earlier, and Shawty played 3 years for the Bucks. His dad, when he was in high school, his dad used to yell out, "Hey, Shawty," in the high school games, "It's time to eat." So I don't know how his parents benefited. I imagine he got his mom, because his mom was living straight up in the north side of Minneapolis. She lived over by 55. Not too far from where Prince's daughter's house was. She just lived up the street, really. Tatika, I bet she don't live in that White House on 55 anymore. That Prince had bought her. Bet she lives somewhere better than that house. Because I guess that was houses where she, used to smoke out. Because, she was a smoker at one time, but it don't look like she ever lost her house. If that house is still her. Hey, how you doing, Don? Have you opened your minds to the scripted plays in basketball? When I watch a game, now it's easy to find NBA players, NFL players, actors. Oh, absolutely. They've been actors. You know, if you watch, you study sport. They've been actors from the very beginning. That's the way it was made. Um, all sports were, if you, all pro sports, if they bet on them, they've been scripted from the very beginning. College too. College has always been scripted. And if you don't think college has always been scripted, watch the movie Marx Brothers Horse Feathers, and the Three Stooges do a very similar movie. I forget what it's called, but it's a football movie. And both of them emphasize crooked football players, where you had to go buy college players. But Horse Feathers is one of the earliest that talk about this. I mean, it's a comedy, you know, it's vaudeville like ish, but it talks about how they bought these players. So it's always been an aspect of college being crooked. It's always been there. I remember players used to make plays like in Michigan State, and I would be with people. They're like, "Oh shit, he got a touchdown. That means he gonna get a car." I mean, it was that crooked. It was that crooked. You really think Magic went to college 2 years at Michigan State? You think he was going to classes those 2 years? And Magic didn't hardly do nothing for 2 years but play basketball at Michigan State. They built a trophy out there for him. So it doesn't matter sometimes if you graduate, if you just support the school. There's a trophy outside of Breslin Arena of Magic Johnson, even though he didn't play in the Breslin. He played in the old arena, the old field house. Magic didn't play in the new one. He didn't play in the Breslin. But damn if there ain't a statue outside of it. Because he still is considered an alumni, even though he went there 2 years. And even though I didn't graduate from A&T, when they look at them pictures from 79, 80, and 81, I'm still there. So that kind of still makes me alumni. It ain't something I gotta lie about. So. And I live my purpose. I live my purpose. My purpose was to be a parent. Fuck, I'm gonna be a parent for 8 more years. Well, I mean, you know, you're a parent your whole life, but my daughter's shit only 11. So 7 more years. And I'm 61, so that was part of my, you know, my life. I've been a parent since 1989. My oldest is 33, be 34 this year. And I still have children of school age. So that was part of my purpose. And that's why coaching came naturally to me. I think I've always had a good influence on young people. Young people have always wanted to talk to me and hear what I had to say about certain things. I've always been someone, a confident kind of with people. And I've always spoke my mind. uh, and there's the power in speaking your mind. You know, people think they got you and throw some bullshit in your face, and you're like, hey, I don't really care that much about this, buddy. So, you know, there's no power in your words. And it's funny when you take the power away from a person that thinks what they're about to say to you. They come to you, and they come to you in power. And they think that there's a power over you, what they're about to say to you. And then when you don't fall for it and you throw some shit back that shows your confidence and you're strong, it fucks them up. They don't know what to say. And it makes them feel stupid because it makes them feel like, you know what, damn, I'm trapped. And here's a person that feels the fuck he wants to feel. I've had people that just, because I've had other opportunities, they didn't have opportunities. And it's just like, small hating as they did, they still hate it. It had nothing to do with them. What I was doing had nothing to do with them. They didn't own the company, none of that. But yet they felt obligated because they were stuck. And see, the way the machine works is there's a cog that don't need it. They don't want it there. They want needy people. I've told this story before where I just needed a job for 2 weeks. I had a good job in 2 weeks, but I just needed a job for 2 weeks. And I remember talking to a person I perceived as a friend, and I shouldn't have told this nigga shit, and wasn't able to fill out the contract. just because I wasn't looking to do it long term. I only wanted to do it for 2 weeks. And I could hustle for 2 weeks, but it was something easy to do for 2 weeks. So I ended up having to go back and hustle, and that was okay too. Because sometimes, you know, you try to do right, and things won't let you do right. So you got to go back to doing wrong. And it wasn't really wrong. Making money's never really been wrong. As long as you ain't stealing. Well, sometimes you can, certain people do deserve to get robbed. I robbed a couple people and they deserved it. Never broken anybody's house. Never had to. Never been to jail. Never spent any time. You know, I've taken people to prison, but I've never spent any time in prison. I've got prison stories. I can tell prison stories. I've hooped in prison. I've been in tournaments in prison. Used to have a contract to take people to prison. So when I was a cop, we used to sleep in the jail. If we had to work nights, we'd sleep in the jail. Like if I had to testify in the morning, go to court, there's a place where we could go to the local jail, go in there and sleep, and they'd wake us up when it was time for court to be called. Wake us up, give us some coffee, have something for us to eat, and we go up to the court. It's like one of my sons, you know, he's upset with me and always talks stuff, but if you look at pictures of him as a little boy, he's wearing nice clothes, clean clothes in every picture. Doesn't look malnourished. Now he might be. But back then he wasn't. So selective memories. I just wish my ex-wife a happy birthday. She's turning 49. And her last name has been my last name more than it was her original last name. That's something. Her last name has been my last name longer than it was her family's last name. And she still goes by my last name, but she's Miss. She ain't Mrs., she's Miss. Notorious Rose Miss Fritos. The Notorious Rose Miss Fritos. Chris Webber timeout. Yeah, Chris Webber timeout was totally bogus. Totally bogus. Derrick Rose. Wasn't just Derrick Rose, the other dude that had the Douglas, what was his name? He played with Charlotte. The Douglas something dude missed some free throws too. They missed like 6 free throws that could have won it for Memphis. Yeah. But the Chris Webber thing was just totally bogus. Because number one, Jalen Rose is the point guard. Why didn't he bring the ball up? Jalen Rose runs away from the ball. That's why Chris Webber travels in the backcourt. He's anticipating throwing it to Jalen, but Jalen to come to the ball. And then they try to tell you that John Lynch was standing there and he was acting like he was going to come steal the pass. Well, everybody knows the point guard goes and gets the ball. Jalen Rose wanted nothing to do with that ball. You talking about pressure, bust pipes? He wanted none of that pressure. Jalen Rose did not run back to get the ball, which a point guard would do. Frederick Douglass, no, his name was, he played for Memphis. The dude who played for Memphis, his name was Douglas Dash something else. So, nah, Frederick Douglass, you got jokes. Nah, his name was something. He played on that Memphis team with Derrick Rose. He missed free throws too that could have sealed the deal. But like my nephew's game, you know, this high school game, guy had 2 free throws to put him up that would have put him up, you know, by 4 at the time and probably sealed the game. He misses the first one. Then one guy could have won the game with a layup, missed the layup. He had a clear layup, missed it. There was people around him, but there's no way he should have missed the layup. So, you know, these are natural things without manipulation. So, but his name was Bay Douglas. Now I don't think he had the more name, but it was something Douglas. I remember that, and he played with Charlotte because they talked about him and Michael Jordan playing one-on-one, but he was on that team and missed free throws too. So, CJ must be off tonight. He ain't came through. He must be off tonight. He's not out there protecting General Motors, so he must be off. But right on. And how much longer is I'm gonna go? I'm not gonna go too much longer myself. But I appreciate everybody who comes by. Thank you for coming by. I appreciate it. And thank you for the support. Because without y'all, coming by and watching the videos. And so, we keep every day trying to get better and better information, trying to give better information on how to cope. Because I want to be bothered. Because if you can't cope, I want to bring some solutions to help people cope. And people not worried about the shit that's outside of them. People worry about you, what's going on with your world, how to make your world better. And quit worrying about the rest of the world. Because that's all a distraction. You hear some shit, what does it mean to me? Give a fuck about that shit. That's how it's got to be. That's how you should look at things. What does it mean to me? Chris Douglas Roberts. That might have been. That Chris Douglas Roberts could have been it. It was a dude who played for Memphis and he later played for Charlotte. That dude missed free throws too. They missed like 6 free throws. They could have won the game. Something like that. But Rose missed 4. I think it was like Rose missed 4. That dude missed 2. Because they had the game won too. They made free throws, they win. But you know how the announcers do it. The announcers like, they're 50% free throw shooters, and then they miss. Like they say it's a announcer shooter. Like the NBA player has made a bunch of free throws, and then they say it's a jinx if the announcer says something about it. That's part of the script. They can make you make it, and they can make you miss it. So. And I think I found, I'm not even going to, I'll hold that. I'll hold that. Because sometimes you release ideas and talk about things, people will beat you to it. So I'll hold that thought and just put it out there. Yeah, announcer jinx. There you go, OTF. Exactly, announcer jinx. Okay. Yeah. So we can take everybody higher. We can take everybody higher. That's what Sly Stone said. Can we take you higher? Higher. Can we take you higher? Higher. So I'm going to try a little something. I was trying to give it last night, see if I can give it out. There we go. The chicken's going to be perfect. You can describe it all day long. You got to taste it to understand it. I'm going to deal with a bigger insult, man. All right. All right. Put that down. See if I can get this to come across. Sweet. Yeah. Really? Okay. Let me try something. Bear with me, bear with me, bear with me, bear with me, bear with me. Hit it in the wrong place. Here we go. Okay. This should do it. All right. Just to have some fun. I think this shit is funny. You got to have vision. You got to have vision. What did he say? What did he say? Uh, where'd he go? I'll turn it off.
Like a solitary rat.
Keeps.
Maybe. Let me lay it on you, Will.
Well, I'm just having fun. I'm just having fun. And so, first of all, I want to give applause. Everybody came out tonight. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Go Lakers. Definitely go Lakers. Noticing a lot of active players in the Omega Psi Phi masonry. Well, Jordan is a Q. So is Shaq. They both Qs. They are both Qs. So yeah, Jordan and Shaq are both Qs. As I said, when I played football, it wasn't many dudes. That it was only it was some dudes behind me. That there was like a couple Kappas. Like we figured. I got asked to be a Q, and my best friend and I, Squirrel, we was gonna be Q. No, we was gonna be Kappas. Our coach was a Kappa, and we was just really trying to get out of spring practice, because I got a spring practice my sophomore years because I got sick, and so then I had to practice the whole week, and still turned out. I scored 2 touchdowns in the spring game. I had like 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 150 yards in the spring game. Didn't practice but one time all week. But so the next year, we was like talking to him and shit, and they was gonna pay, cause to get in frats, you gotta pay. Like them white frats where motherfuckers be living in them frats, you gotta pay for all that. You gotta have money to be on all that. And so they was gonna pay, and the coach was like, yeah, y'all can do that, but y'all ain't getting out of practice, cause it was like we wouldn't have had it that hard. We wouldn't have had it that hard. And that's why a lot of women go through grad chapter, because they don't want to go through all the bullshit. So when they graduate, like my teammate that just passed recently, I know he went through Kappa's grad chapter. He didn't do it when he was going to school. So Jaylen Brown, the usual sellouts. AJ, yeah, Jaylen Brown. Oh, Iggy's one too. Stephen A. Smith is a Q. I didn't know. But that one, there's no way the Qs could ever live down that one where they show them and they fall on the ground and their pants is all, like ass is all out and they all fall on the ground and humping. It's like they'll never be able to live down that video of the Qs. That video is gonna haunt them forever, because that video wasn't very manly. It didn't show the Qs very manly. If y'all remember that video, showed them Qs. All of them with, their ass showing and they on the ground and they just nothing but men and they humping the ground and shit, barking like a dog. That ain't very manly. I would say that's the opposite of manly. The opposite of manly. Well, this is the Chocolate Mountain Show. I have been your humble host, and I hope that you enjoyed the show. So I will see you again real soon. But thank you all for joining. I appreciate it. Till we meet again.